Have you ever wondered how teachers assess a student with special needs? Today, I will talk about the assessment for blind learners in school. In this presentation, we will answer the three big questions. What is assessment for blind learners? Why is it important? And mostly, how do we actually do it in practice, especially in our values education subject? Before we talk about the assessment, we first ask who are the blind learners. So, blind learners are the students who have little or no functional vision even with glasses or surgery. Some are totally blind, while others have low vision. It is also important to remember that blindness is not only a medical condition. It is also affect how learners access, process, and demonstrate learning. So now, what is assessment? So assessment is the process of gathering information about the learner's knowledge, skills, and progress. For blind learners, assessment is be fair and adaptive to their needs. As Salvia and others explain that it should measure what the student know, not their disability. So in school, we usually think of two types of assessment. One is the content-based assessment which focuses on the knowledge. Second one is the performance-based assessment which focuses on application. So the for blind learners, both of these must be adjusted through accommodation strategies, specialized tools, and assessment that ensure fairness that we discuss later on. So for the classroom accommodation for blind learners. So Macmillan of 2017 emphasizes that the way we design and administer assessment should adapt to the learner's need. So for the blind student, this means that giving them simplified or oral direction, breaking tests into smaller sections, providing assessment that in braille, large print, or audio method. Lastly is the reducing distraction in the environment. For example, if we're giving a values education quiz, instead of handing out paper, we might read the question aloud or giving them in an audio format quiz. This adjustment create a fair starting point so blind learners can show their actual knowledge instead of being limited by inaccessible test format. So addition to that is we can provide extended time and allow alternative response format. Like instead of pen and paper, we can provide an oral and audio recording. So it also and values education strategy can include small group oral discussion instead of written group work, role playing scenario to demonstrate a value, oral or audio reflection instead of written journals, and real life application of tasks followed by oral sharing. So this strategy don't just make assessment accessible, they also make them more authentic and meaningful. So, to make assessment accessible, blind learners use specialized tool. First one is the Braille. So, the Braille is a tactile system of raised dot that allows students to read and write through touch. Screen readers. So, screen readers are the software program that convert text into speech or Braille. Next one is the tactile graphics. So the tactile graphics are the raised images or diagram that student can feel, helping them to understand the chart, maps, and illustration. So lastly is the assistive technology such as a braille note taker and magnification devices to further enhance their learning access. So a blind learner might use this um, assessment tool to feel it, or it is essential for them to not feel unfairly disadvantaged to some kind of assessment. So um, now let's answer a very important question. So why do blind learners need a proper assessment? So first is the fairness and inclusion. If we only give a written exam in print, blind learners will fail not because they don't understand but because the test is not accessible for them. Second one is the guidance for teaching. So this kind of assessment tells teachers what tools or strategy work best for them. Third one is the identifying the strength and the needs of the learners, because some of blind learners may be very good in memory and listening skill, where others need more support in orientation or mobility. Next one is that tracking progress. So us teachers need to see if the learners is improving. So regular assessment show growth over time, especially for the learners who has exceptional needs. So lastly is the preparation for real life. So blind learners also have a role in life. In their families, schools, and communities, assessment like this help them practice important skill for their future. So now let's talk about the most important part. How do we actually assess blind learners in school? So assessment should always begin with a curriculum. And our subject values education, my topic is the pansariling gampanin bilang isang mapanagutang namumuno at tagasunod. The value to be developed is the accountability or the mapanagutan. So for the content-based assessment sample item, this is aligned with the first and second competency. So yeah, there's a competency. So yeah, learners will be given a choice. So either respond through a live oral quiz or by submitting answer through an audio recording. So this gives the flexibility of online quizzes allow immediate feedback and interaction, while audio recording give learners more time to think and further reflect. So for the performance-based assessment, which align with the third competency, focuses on the application. So the example performance-based assessment includes a role-play activity where learners demonstrate how to help a struggling group member either as a leader or as a follower. Second one is the group sharing activity, which is the student or the blind student can share a personal experience of being a responsible leader or a follower. So, lastly, is the simulation activity where the class follows a simple rule and their ability to follow and cooperate is observed. So, this activity make assessment not only accessible but also practical and values driven. So, this is our my reference for that. So, thank you for watching and